Alright, hello camera, welcome back to the channel. This of course is another anime reaction video. Today we're going to be reacting to Gintama episodes 17 and 18. And why are we doing Gintama now instead of Haikyuu? Because usually I do a sort of rotation, I go Haikyuu, Gintama, and last time we did Gintama episode 15, so I should be doing Haikyuu, logically. However, to sort of make up for the fact that I fucked up with episode 16 of Gintama, I'm just going to do another set of Gintama right away. And that's also because I am just generally really enjoying watching Gintama. It's a lot of fun to watch. And also, I mean, it's not such a bad idea to want to take a little bit of a break after a full season of anime. No matter what, season 4 is not the end of the Haikyuu anime. So at some point I'm going to have to start waiting for whenever season 5 is going to come out. Hopefully another season will come out. But I don't know how long it's going to be, just a short little break, so I'm going to be doing more of Gintama, but let's not take up too much more time. Let's just get right into the episode. Gintama episode 17. Okay, let me just go back. Sons seek after their father's negative attributes. Let me see if I can find where they mention his full name. I think they did in the Shinsengumi scene. Okay, yeah, Shinsuke Takasugi. Alright. I'll try to remember that name. Where can I write that down? Okay, so that was a really great episode. I'm torn. I'm not really sure if I'd put this above episode 16 in terms of what my favorite episode of Gintama is so far, but this is really definitely up there. It's like a contender for sure, because I really like the introduction of this Shinsuke Takasugi guy, because while they could do interesting conflicts between the characters we already know, this guy, who, while I'm sure he's a lot more complex and nuanced than I'm giving him credit for right now, he seems like a really good way to have conflicts centered around someone who does things that are objectively bad. He likes killing people, and it might be just because he's mentally disturbed because of the horrors of war, and that's part of the reason why I also really like this episode. But you can have conflicts that are much more serious in tone when you have this kind of guy, because Katsura, with his sort of comedic-ish nature, or not nature, but relationship with Gintoki, there are still some serious things that I'm sure you could pull from Katsura as a character in this series, and I'm sure there will be. I feel like it'll at least be easier earlier on in the series for serious things with this Takasugi guy, because he's very he's very disturbed, I guess you could say. So, as I was saying, another reason why I like this episode is while it does introduce some things that I'm sure will come back later on in the story, some things to this sort of overarching narrative, so to speak, of Gintama, which I'm sure that's probably not the right words, but this guy is an interesting addition and will potentially help with some world building that will come in later on as the series goes on. But I also really like the self-contained story of this episode with the old man Hiraga, because, as I was saying, Gintoki and Shinsuke both seem like they're very much products of the horrors of war. They're deeply affected by the war, and who they are now is kind of shaped by the war. And the same thing was going on with this guy, with Hiraga. I don't know if he'll ever show up in the series again. He seems like he might be sort of a one-off character to sort of help establish this sort of idea of the horrors of war in the Gintama series, while also introducing a character like Shinsuke, who I feel will definitely be a reoccurring character as the series goes on, and he's also sort of that product of the war. I feel like I'm being really repetitive here, but him and Takasugi, Shinsuke, and Gintoki will definitely be having more interactions with each other later on. And so really interesting episode from that perspective. And well, I don't think it's super necessary. I am kind of curious to what it is exactly that Gintoki did to Shinsuke. Maybe, actually, no, never mind. It probably won't be explained because I don't think it really matters too much. They said Sadaharu, so I imagine he punched him and then Sadaharu came in for the save. Now that I think about it, Sadaharu wasn't even in this episode at all. But I think he might have just been saying that because, as a joke, basically. It's like, I have a beast named, Sadaharu, and he just happens to be white. And it was just kind of like a joke thing, and it wasn't meant to be like read any deeper than that, maybe. But I kind of like the cut from Gintoki punching to Kondo's sword being broken. It's kind of a funny cut. I don't think it was on purpose, but for a split second, I thought Gintoki punched this man's fucking katana straight in half, which would be hilarious. I wouldn't be surprised if Gintoki to do that. I don't know if there are superpowers in the series, like other than Kagura. There haven't been too many superhuman type things. Either way, that's pretty much all I had to say about this episode. Let's move on to episode 18. Man, I think that I love that episode. This is a great episode. This is by far the best episode for comedy in Gintama. This is a really great episode for comedy. And while I won't speak to like the whole it being right after a series episode like the last one, I do have to say it was still a very good episode. I don't know if there's much. I don't think there's as much I can say about this episode like I could say about episode 17, just because they added like no world building or like any deeper exploration into other characters outside of Tai Shimura, which that means Shinpachi's last name is also Shimura. Tai Shimura is that she's she can be very scary when she's pissed off, and also they were getting really into this whole setup, but it was really funny. This was a great episode. I'm still curious as to what exactly that beginning scene is, what the point of that was. Maybe that was similar to the whole thing with last episode with Katsura and Shinsuke, is that it's hinting at things that will that'll show up again in the future. It's just with this, it doesn't immediately affect the actual plot of the self-contained plot of this episode like Shinsuke did. But we'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see for that. But man, I'm very happy that I decided to start watching Gintama. Alright, well, with that all being said, thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to smash that like button and to subscribe and hit the notification bell if you want to see more of my Gintama reactions. Okay. I had to make sure again. It wouldn't have changed anything, but I'm very happy to say that I am indeed still recording, so I did not lose out on my reactions to episode 17 and 18 of Gintama. We're doing good so far. Anyway, once again, thank you all for watching. See you later, camera.